Good morning, beautiful people. How are you doing today? We are going to be discussing several things on NapTime News. The first one is vendor events, how, what, where, when, and why. And then the second thing is something that I'm very excited to share with you. If you saw Lisa Blair's post the other day about how she's using some of her Posh points, which are points that you as a consultant earn for meeting your goals, for your PV, and then for your qualified frontline. So it's along those lines, and it's a charity thing. Please bear with me because the video, there's some from yesterday and then there's going to be some today. So you will notice my Diana Ross costume changes, but you will get all this valuable information in time for this crazy busy season. Question might be, how do you get vendor fairs? This is where your networking skills come in. If you have any friends that are Mary Kay or 31 or Sensi or anything like that, connect with them again and just say, hey, I am starting with Perfectly Posh now, as you know, and I'm trying to find a way to get into some vendor fairs. Can you please keep your ears open? I've done that, and that is actually how I got the one last night. The second thing that you could do is look in your community pages. If you have a community website, I think Menominee Falls is thepatch.com. So the vendor fair that last night that I did was for a Women's Resource Center, actually the Association for Prevention of Family Violence. So I like to do or know that my vendor table fee is going to go to a good cause instead of just in the pocket of an organizer. That's just something I do. Something to think about when you go for these vendor fairs is one, the table fee. Last night was expensive. It was the most expensive one that I have done, and it was the first year. So those are two things that are normally on my no-no list. But because I wanted to get into a new market, I decided to just pay the bigger fee. It's tax deductible, and then I decided to try it for the first year. I am going to go back on my word, and I will not do another first year vendor fair just because it's very, very difficult. You don't know what to expect. You have to make sure that the person who is in charge of the vendor fair is going to be marketing it well. Another thing you want to make sure is look into the location. If it is in the back of an industrial park, you're not going to get a lot of foot traffic, especially if it's an evening event. Just because it gets dark out, people aren't going to be walking around looking for vendor fairs. Those are two things, kind of like my qualifiers. I always check to see how many years it's been going, because obviously the more the better. I check to see where it is located, and then I kind of scope out who the marketer is. So again, I went against everything that I normally do to qualify these vendor events, and it kind of was a bust. It was kind of a bummer. What you do with these vendor events, it depends on who is organizing it. A lot of times they want you to have a lot of cash and carry. Now that's another thing to think about. Do you want to be holding on to all this stock to hope to sell at these vendor events? Last night I sold a bunch of Big Fat Yummy hand creams, and then I did sell a hot pepper shebang that I just happened to have. I was going to make a bunch of samples, and I never opened it. So that is nice. I got some of my inventory out, and I have, you'll see in the video, I have a ton of baskets that are made up. I am here, everybody, and it is kind of crazy, so I will show you around the booth and show you what else is here. You can see it. I have everything marked, but in pigs that will rip off easily. A tablecloth and the minis to try to make it like shabby chic. I'm not very good at this. That fixture there with the Posh sticker that came with our ticket out was 40% off from Hobby Lobby. And then kind of like these that have buy me and a try me side. So trying to create that, and of course I like cards, and then I'm going to do a giveaway with the cute little box that came with us for giveaway. And then kind of look around. Kind of big, kind of crazy. The bride, Mary Kay is here, Tupperware, all sorts of people. Begins in about 10 minutes, and we have a nice mix of vendors. Vendor events are generally big around the holidays. If you don't know anybody there, I suggest going around and offering the hand creams for them to try, or some people like to hand out their catalog, or if you have a ton of Posh papers, you could do that. I like to kind of keep it simple. I'm not not in your face. There are vendor events out there, kind of like State Fair. The table fees are, for this one, she's giving me a deal of $375. So that is something that I need to kind of mull out in my head. There's going to be over 2,000 people walking through the gates, so that's a plus right there. This event has been going for several years. That's another plus. It's a wellness thing, so there are going to be 16 free classes throughout the 2 days. So that is something that, you know, if you're starting out, $375, even for me, I am starting out, and that is a lot of money. I don't think I'm going to be doing this. If there are ever events that I can't make it to, and I know that they're in your neck of the woods, I will pass them along to you. This next part that we're going to talk about, I am super, super excited. This is our charity or cause part, or give back to the community, however you want to think about it. This came up, I know I've read posts in our group about interest in something like this, trying to outreach into our community. So let's do this for the holidays. This has got me very excited because, one, I experienced it in New York, and two, I have a very good friend that needed one of these shelters. So the event that I had, although it was kind of a bust last night, I did get to meet two fabulous women from, and it's a tongue tie every time I say it, but the Association for Prevention of Family Violence. And I said, hey Heidi, by chance do you know of a place in Fond du Lac for all of our ladies in Fond du Lac, Beaver Dam, Madison area, and then a place in Waukesha for all the rest of us ladies that would be willing to accept donations of pampering goodies? And they had been talking to me all night, so they knew what perfectly possible, and they're like, honestly, yes. And they grabbed two names for me. So the two places that we're going to go to, Angie Peel graciously is going to help out with this one, the Solution Center in Fond du Lac, and she will be talking to Jody. I talked to her this morning, and Jody is very excited and kind of like, wow, you would do that? So we are going to be gathering lotions. I would think chunks and hand creams, because those are something that are simpler to ask for from customers. It's what we did with New York, and it worked really well. And then for all of us in the Waukesha area, or on this end, we are going to be doing a women's shelter in Waukesha. I don't quite have the name. Mary, I left her a message today. So what we can do and how we can do this is create events on our Facebook and talk it up at any events or girls' nights that we have that are coming out, and just say, hey, we are trying to bring some light and joy and happiness to these beautiful women that are escaping these horrible situations, and we were wondering if you would like to participate in it. This would be a great chance for you to call all of your customers, because a lot of people like to or want to give back in some way, but they don't quite know how, so this is an opportunity for them. I'm asking all of our wordsmith friends or our really articulate friends, by chance, could you come up with a paragraph for us, for the rest of us that aren't very good? You know, we have the good intentions, but we don't know how to spew it out so that other people feel the warmth and the love behind us. And if you could post a paragraph or two in the comments, that'd be wonderful. I can get you the names of the shelters. It's Solution Center for all of you Fond du Lac, Beaver Dam, Madison people. And then we're just going to say Women's Center. I think it's actually the Big Yellow House, but I'm not quite sure where they're going to do it. Both of these places would love to have this. Some of them give kits to these ladies that come in there. They are there from 24 hours to 6 months. It depends on what they need and what kind of care they need. But they would love to have this on hand. So that is my goal. I've always wanted to do this personally. Don't think of it always just lotion and soap. It's the love behind it that we can give them. And yes, my friend would have loved to have some nice pampering stuff that somebody thought to buy for them. So that is my excitement. I am super, super stoked for this. I know a bunch of you are going to be excited for this too. If you have any questions, you can email me or message me on here and put it. I mean, many people might have those questions. But that is it for NapTime News. Thank you so, so much. You don't know how much you mean to me, especially if you can help participate. For all of our friends that are struggling right now with the Posh business, please reach out to us. We'd love to help you. Try doing this event and see what you can do. Yeah, it's all about helping the people in the holidays, passing along the good fortune to the people that we have around us. Thank you so much. I look forward to chatting to each and every one of you, and I hope you have a fantabulous weekend.